Hi, I'm Rick and welcome to the Carpark Photographer. In today's video, we are heading to Southend and Beachport in the southeast of South Australia, where we will visit a number of car parks with some amazing coastal views. Southend and Beachport are two small coastal towns on the limestone coast in South Australia, approximately 74 and 84 kilometres from Mount Gambier. Directly south from Southend and Beachport is the Southern Ocean. With Antarctica almost 3,000 kilometres away and nothing but ocean in between, this region is exposed to gale-force winds and huge swells which have shaped the rugged coastline of this region. First, we are heading to 3 car parks at Southend. To get to Southend, coming via Millicent, travel through Millicent and onto the Southern Ports Highway. Continue on through Rendlesham and after approximately 6 kilometres turn left onto the Southend Access Road and follow it into Southend, where it becomes Eliza Street and then Cape Buffon Drive. Follow Cape Buffon Drive to the end where you will arrive at our first car park, the Cape Buffon car park. From this car park there are great scenic views of a rugged and treacherous coastline, and even more views if you take the Cape Buffon Scenic Walk. The Scenic Walk is a 2.5 kilometre scenic loop taking in some great coastal views. The walking track to the left of the car park starts out mostly flat and is fairly easy to manage, winding its way along the cliff tops with views of the waves crashing on the rocky coastline below and the picturesque coast leading off into the distance. Further on, the track narrows here and there are also small hills to navigate, making it a bit of a challenge if your mobility is limited. However, even if you can only manage to go a short distance along the track, you will be rewarded with some impressive coastal views. There are numerous native coastal plants, including coastal grasses along the track, which you can use as a foreground interest in your photos. The walking track to the right of the car park is rocky and uneven, with a decline near to the cliff edge and then a narrow track leading you along the cliff top. This part of the Cape Buffon Scenic Walk is more challenging than the walking track to the left of the car park, but is definitely worthwhile if you can manage it. Driving back from the Cape Buffon car park, follow Cape Buffon Drive until just before the stop sign, where you will see an unsealed road on your left. This will take you to our second car park, the Jetty Lookout car park and part of the Cape Buffon walking trail. Here there are great views overlooking the Southend Jetty, fishing boats and views of the coastline towards Beachport. When you get back onto Cape Buffon Drive, turn left at the aforementioned stop sign. Follow the road down to the third car park we are visiting in Southend, the Southend Jetty car park. This car park has ample parking with great views of the jetty and the fishing boats moored offshore. There are also public toilets located at this car park. Next we are heading to Beachport. We will visit the car park at the Beachport Jetty and the Bowman Scenic Drive. To get to Beachport from Southend, just head back along the Southend Access Road and turn left onto the Southern Ports Highway. After about 14 kilometres you will come into Beachport. Turn left at the Bowman Scenic Drive sign and then right onto Beach Road. This will take you along the beachfront to the scenic Beachport Jetty and Harbour. There is plenty of parking here, and there are many shops and places to eat along the beachfront and along Railway Terrace, the main street in Beachport. There are also public toilets located on Railway Terrace next to the playground and also at the Harbour car park. The Beachport Jetty is 772 metres long and makes a great subject to photograph as it stretches off towards the horizon. A long exposure of at least 15 seconds will give you a nice blur to the sea, and depending on the conditions and your camera settings, you can produce a nice misty look. Both shorter and longer exposures are also worth trying. A sturdy tripod is essential if you are going to try to get long exposures. ND or neutral density filters can also be quite useful as they reduce the light entering the camera and make it possible to slow down the shutter speed. If you're using a camera with a viewfinder, cover the viewfinder to prevent stray light from entering the camera. Stray light from a viewfinder can produce unwanted light flares and patches in your images. Next we are going to continue on the Bowman Scenic Drive. Follow the signs and they will lead you onto the coast road where there are a number of car parks with great scenic views of the coastline. These car parks have great views overlooking the beaches and dramatic coastline, and there are tracks leading down to the picturesque beaches. These tracks are generally sandy and steep and can be physically demanding. The tracks from the Salmon Hole and Post Office Rocks car parks lead to some lovely beaches. If you want to get down to the shoreline, the most accessible spot is the Blowhole car park, which is the last car park on the sealed road of the Scenic Drive. Although there is no sandy beach, this car park is right on the rocky foreshore, close to the waves crashing onto the rocks and rock pools at low tide. A fast shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second will freeze the movement of waves, but if you want your image to convey a sense of movement, use a slower shutter speed, around 1/8 or 1/4 of a second. From this car park we finish our car park tour and head back along the Bowman Scenic Drive, taking in the views heading back into Beachport. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions. If you would like to follow me on Instagram or visit my website, click on the links in the description. Thanks for watching the Carpark Photographer.